my buddy Michael Irvin, I decided to pop him on during the Peacock portion of your commercial breaks because we come back earlier on Peacock. Everybody should get this streamer. It's awesome. How are you, Michael? You good?
I'm doing well, buddy.
Okay.
I'm doing great now.
All right, so now you're walking from your house. We've established while we were chatting on Peacock, your a house to a car heading to the airport, correct?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Just got off ITC, so
Inside Training Camp.
to the airport now.
Inside Training Camp on NFL Network. Michael Irvin talking Inside Training Camp, and I want to get to a little bit of that what you were discussing on ITC, as we call it. And then, did you know this, Chris? I didn't even know this.
I did not. I didn't know this was public knowledge.
You had COVID, Mike? You had COVID?
Oh my God, Rich! Let me tell you how this thing went too, Rich. Like
what?
Okay, when I got I got COVID, right? Got it like late June.
Okay.
When I got home, I didn't know I had it, and then I got real sick. I mean, a pounding headache for like 4 or 5 days. You couldn't eat, you can't sleep. You just got to endure the pain. I took 2 tests. They all came back negative. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm good. I don't have it. But I'm feeling the pain. And then after I went through about 3 weeks of hell, I said, okay, I'm going to go and take the antibody test because it had to be something. That had to be COVID. There's no way I went through that kind of pain, that kind of hell, and nobody knows what it is because then I'm scared it may come back. So I took the antibody test, and, of course, the antibody test, which I think is more accurate, came back that I got the antibodies. So I can't, at least that's what my doctor said, that I should be pretty good now. So I want to come to school.
You want to come? You want to come? Yeah, you want to come to game day morning now, huh? Well,
right. I want to come to the studio and do what we do, buddy. That's what I want to do.
Well, I mean, as long as you're 6 feet away from me, Michael, I'm fine with that. No, but
I'm done with it, Rich. You're good. I already had it. I can't get it again. I can't give it to nobody. We're good, buddy. Me and you can sit there. We can leave Kurt if we have to. We leave Kurt and Coach at home. But you and me, we should be right there, buddy, together doing our thing.
So just to recap, Irv, COVID negative tests twice. COVID antibody positive once. That's what you got.
Right. That's what I got. And it was what was scary about it. And I'm going to tell you guys, I pray for anybody that has it.
Of course.
I really do. Because the headache, Rich, let me tell you, I said to myself, honestly, I'm not lying, I wanted out of here. I was like, man, there's no way I could even endure this. The only thing I kept saying is you only got 2 weeks of it. 2 weeks. I pray for all the people that have those migraines because it's severe like a migraine, and they have it all the time. It would be the hardest thing in the world to live with because I just went through it. It was the hardest thing in the world I've ever dealt with.
Huh. Okay, so now that you've had it, okay, and that you know about it, is your son playing football this fall? I'm trying to catch up here on everything that's going on.
Yeah, yes, he is. He's at FAU, and that's interesting you bring that up because I've talked to a lot of the guys. You know, they went back and forth with a lot of the players about all of that and about COVID. We had the parent call.
Right.
And they're doing such a great job of trying to keep everybody informed and everything. And yeah, like, you know, this Michael's last year. He's a graduate transfer. He's with Coach Taggart, who just came from Florida State. And he's getting the opportunity to catch a lot of passes. So he's like, Dad, listen, COVID or not, I got to play. I'm ready to play, you know, regardless. And I understood that. This is an opportunity for him and his last opportunity in college. So I understood. He said, I'm taking the risk.
Right. And so they're going to play. FAU is going to play, that they've got the okay to do it, and you're fine with the protocol as a parent. You've seen, I mean, this is as hot button a subject as there is in sports right now, is whether college is going to go.
Right, and then didn't you hear like the Big Ten? They're trying to reconsider. They're talking about possibly starting in October. Did you hear that?
Yes, as I said at the top of the show, Irv, they're trying to pull in Omaha, and part of the reason why is Nebraska won't give up. You know, I mean, Omaha is totally front and center in every way right now. You know,
that's crazy.
You know.
That's a great one, Rich, pulling that Omaha back in here.
Yeah.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes.
Yeah, and rightfully, listen, now that I thought, because those kids and all the pressure, let me just say this. There's a lot of booster money over in that Big Ten. You got Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio. There's been some pressure put down on that office. You better believe there's been some pressure put down on that office.
But just to first bring it to, because we always talk real here, as you know, and David Shaw, who we know very well from our times with the draft, I had him on Monday, and I'm sure he would point out that the reason why they're not playing football in the Pac-12 and why they were fully agreement, he said unequivocally when I asked him if he thinks the Pac-12 made the right decision, is because of, the heart ailment that might be brought on by COVID, certainly in younger people, and myocarditis. Are you concerned at all about your son? Obviously you're concerned, but is that something you're just like, you know what, you've had COVID, so that's why I'm kind of bringing that up for you.
Absolutely, I'm concerned. And that heart condition, I'm concerned about it. As a matter of fact, I watched that interview, and you guys did a great job.
Thanks,
and I know he's on the committee.
Yes, sir.
He was talking about he's on the committee,
yep.
and he talked about that and did a wonderful job. But they're talking about, they say the percentage of that, the percentage of people that get it, is very low. But of course, one is too many. One is too many, and that's what I think they're dealing with. Okay, do we push out the whole season with the percentage of a kid getting that being what it is, and it's just there's so much in it, Rich. There's so much there. And I was joking but jokingly serious. I was joking with talking to some of the kids that Michael plays with, and I was saying, listen, what do you do if you decide not to play? A lot of us don't have, and I say us because I came from that, don't have a lot of great options, a lot of great options. And sometimes football is the only way out. Mm-hmm. So Rich, I started thinking to myself, okay, and I said to these kids, kids, you guys decide not to play. Where this country is right now, unemployment is incredible. I said, so you decide not to play football, you don't have much at home already, and you have to go get in that unemployment line. You'll be number 50 million in one. I'm just saying, 50 million in one. So when you start looking at it all, I know where I came from. If I was given that opportunity and somebody said you have to either play or we don't play, I'm like, man, you're telling me I'm risking catching COVID, and I know COVID to be hell. I'm telling you I live in hell right now, and I'm trying to get out.
Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. What'd you make of the NBA players saying they didn't want to play? Michael, what'd you make of that?
Rich, I thought it was an incredibly brave thing to do. We talk about it all the time. Every superstar that comes through, we almost demand that they have foundations and that they give back. We demand it. If you don't, we demand it. That's what you should be doing. That's the right thing to do. And that's what these players are doing. Why do you create foundations, Rich? You create foundations because you are blessed and you want to help others that are less fortunate and less blessed. That's why we do all the charity work we do. Troy, Emmy, and me, we did a big charity dinner the other night. That's why we do all the charity work, because that's the right thing. That's the right human thing, and we want to make sure it's the right American thing to do. That's what those guys are doing. Those guys are saying, listen, we're trying to make sure we help some of the people who are less fortunate than us and are getting caught in these situations of police brutality and even us in certain situations, even us. But as Charles Barkley has said, let's be real. We're living a different life because of the gifts that God has given us. We're living a different life now, but it doesn't remove us from being who we are. And I love that those guys say, this is still a part of me. Even though I'm blessed and living the way I'm living, this is still a part of me, and I'm going to sacrifice for that. I thought it was inspiring. It was incredible, and kudos to those guys for doing that.
Yeah, and they're coming back to play. We had Jim Trotter on before in the first hour saying that he had just gotten off the phone, our colleague, and I'm imagining this was part of Inside Training Camp when you were on the air for the last couple of hours. Jim saying that he was on the phone with a prominent player, a very prominent player in the NFL, in tears, saying he'd been crying for 3 straight days about what happened to Jacob Blake, and that this player was considering not playing Week 1 of the NFL season. Did you hear that one, Mike?
Yes, and we talked about it, and I don't know if it's Week 1. Yeah, I did. I heard it, Rich, and we talked about it. We talked about it, and I'm gonna tell you what I said to that, Rich.
Please.
I believe the NFL has an opportunity to get ahead of this, and I don't want to say compromise, because you don't want anybody compromising here on their stance, because this is something that you don't need to compromise on, but work together. Let's work together, and I hope that's how, when they go to the NFL, go to the players, because I was worried if the NBA did not come back, and I'm so glad the guys took the stand that they did, but I'm also so glad they came back, because it keeps the voice where it keeps the microphones and the cameras right where they are, so they can make a difference, and they are making a difference. But if they didn't come back, there would have been so much pressure put on the NFL players to not play at all this year. So they came back. Now they're back. Now the NFL wants to make a statement. If I'm the owner, God knows I don't have owner money, but if I am,
yes,
I am going to go and meet with these guys and try to, here again, don't use the word compromise in a situation like this, because people are standing up for something, for serious injustice. Don't you work together and do something, because you can't just sit out an NFL game and pick it back up a couple of days later because of what our game demands. You have to have this thing orchestrated. And does the NFL, since we've had so many adjustments this year already, do the NFL say, hey, let's pick Week 3, let's pick Week 4, and sit down a week? Everybody shutting down a week, and then just kind of push everything back in recognition for what we're trying to accomplish for social injustice.
Well, I mean, you do have the ear of an owner. I mean, you do have, and a very prominent one, too, a Hall of Fame owner. I mean, if the Dallas Cowboys took the forefront of something like this, that would certainly gain a lot of attention. Mike, don't you think?
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying all 32 better take the forefront on this, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
All 32. One team, because one or two teams, you got to have everybody involved. Everybody involved, or it becomes a disaster. If 3 teams on Sunday morning says, you know what, we're not playing, how do you make back up those 3 games, when the other teams are playing? It could be, a disaster-wise for the scheduling of the NFL and trying to keep the competitive balance of the NFL. That's why I'm saying, instead of putting your head in the sand and saying, okay, we hope this doesn't happen, we hope it doesn't happen, I would be trying to get in front of it and say, let's do something about it so we can all work together and get something done the right way.
Last one for you, Michael, before I send you on your day. I'm sure ITC was all about TB12 talking after showing up on Raymond James, winging around on a new home stadium for him. It's tough for me to not go head over heels for the Bucs right here, with Arians being the one at the controls with Leftwich, for Brady and Gronk and Evans and Godwin and O.J. Howard and Ronald Jones, and the defense that was an excellent run defense last year that we have to assume is going to get better in the pass defense. It is very difficult for me not to go head over heels and think this is a Super Bowl favorite. Mike, what say you?
Well, when you have 58 game winning drives like Tom Brady does, and how often does an NFL game come down to that last drive, those last few seconds? It's very understandable why you go head over heels. Let me tell you what I love. You're hearing how Tom Brady is getting on guys, making sure guys are doing things perfectly, showing you know how hard that is, Rich? You're the new dude in the locker room. The new dude in the locker room doesn't come in and get that kind of credibility. You just to be getting on guys out here. But Tom, he's such the Don, Tom the Don, that everybody, hey, no problem, buddy. What you want me to do? You got 6 of them. I just want 1 of them. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just tell me how to do it, and I'm going to do it. That's what I love. So the approach and everything you hear and all, absolutely, you can fall head over heels, but just know that's a tough division. We'll get them week 1.
Yep.
The two greats, Tom Brady and Drew Brees, and all of these young quarterbacks doing their thing. We're getting them week 1 without any preseason games. Drew Brees has been in his offense forever. Tom Brady with a brand new group of guys and a brand new coaching staff. That's going to be off the hook.
And then there's also the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, they're there too. They're there too, Rich. And say what you will, this is what I love. I love Coach Gary. That was my quarterback.
Yes,
we worked hard together. We did a lot of great things. I love him.
Understood.
But I love hearing what I'm hearing about Mike McCarthy. They turned off the damn music. Let's turn that music off so everybody can hear. And it's the seriousness about practice. This is not an extension of the club. This is not an extension of the bar. Out here, we come to work, and I love that he got him back to picking up those little small, minute details that makes the difference between 8-8, honestly, and 12-4 or 13-3. Small things they're working on.
T.J. Jefferson with his arms in the air. You said 13 wins earlier this week, did you not?
Great minds think alike.
Oh,
Rich.
my word.
Me and the playmaker.
You guys, same Kool-Aid.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's in there. Mike McCarthy knows, and he's a quarterback guru. And he comes in saying he's worked with the guys that he's worked. Not going to listen to that. That's what I'm just excited about it, man. I can't wait to see what it is when the Cowboys take the field.
And CeeDee Lamb in the mix too now with his 88. Fantastic. The 88 clever. Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. You take care of yourself, Mike. I had no idea you had COVID. My God, I would have called. Susie and I would have called. We would have checked in on you and everything, but you sound great. It's good to hear.
I'm so happy, Rich. And let's call and text. You can't even do any of that. Your brain is stuck, buddy. My brain was stuck. So you'd have called and or text. I couldn't have responded. I would have responded afterwards and told you, hey, man, I was hurt. I'm good now. But I appreciate you thinking about me. You and TJ. I love you guys to death.
All right. You take care of yourself, Irv. You be well.
Okay, buddy.
Okay. That's Michael Irvin right here.
Playmaker.
Didn't know that. Wow.
I had no idea. That's the first I've heard of that.